All right. And 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 2,
7.
1. Yeah. And we're live.
Oh boy.
Woot, woot.
What a world we live in.
All right. Lucky Bat. Ooh. Void 16. Hello.
How about chat?
Let's see what to do today. I think a lot of these guys are getting pretty close. Brewer Marcy. Hello. What to do today?
Hello.
I think just a little touch-ups. A lot of them have foot gear that I've been avoiding, so maybe I should work on that. But
foot gear.
They do. Well, what would you call that?
I don't know because I'm a few seconds behind.
Yeah. Well, what would you call that?
I guess it's foot gear.
Mm-hmm.
Little armor feats.
Yeah.
Little socks.
Void 16.
I don't call them socks.
So I think the actual feet are bare. I think it's just like it's like a thigh guard, a shin guard, and then like probably a little leather gaiter.
Yeah. Well, I usually I wear stuff like that around the house.
Mm-hmm. Void 16. Do you prime your figures first? Void 16. Haven't you been here? the first episode of painting these little guys was giving them a prime and a base coat with the airbrush. But yes, typically, actually not typically, always prime your models first. I think the only time I have not primed a model is when I base coat them with a coat of Vallejo liquid silver. And so the liquid silver actually goes on best on gloss surfaces. And so I could have primed them with a gloss, but I thought that it would go on just fine onto the bare plastic, and it did. So that's the only time I don't prime. And most primers have a period where they kind of set. So if you want best results, it's a good idea to prime things about a day in advance. Where are my brushes?
Where is anything? We filmed a bunch today. So it moved everything around.
Oof, there we go.
Love that.
All right. All right. Here we go. I think today I am going to... Yeah, I'm going to paint the ropes, the rope belts that some of them have. See, I think this is a good primer in working with 3D printed figures, because I really did not see a lot of this stuff. Like right here, you can see two little kind of studs left over from the printing process. So I think in the future I'm actually going to give everything a prime, like a zenithal prime, just to get a little bit more contrast, so that I can really see, and I can get rid of stuff like that before I'm at the paint stage. But they don't. The 3D printing resin is so hard that it doesn't like to cut. It's a little bit frustrating. Zurich619, hello.
Hello.
Joy Flores, thank you. We're very proud of the video today.
Yes. Yep. It's a good one. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that they took the supports off for you.
Yeah,
I would have much rather take my take them off.
yeah. That's probably. I think I'm sure if I asked them to, they would have left some of the sports on. So maybe in the future.
They could have taken the supports off first and then UV cured it.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's probably what they do
yeah. And honestly,
because it's way easier to take the supports
I mean,
off.
if you look at them, they are like 98% perfect. But
Mhm.
those few spots where there was some support, they irk me a bit.
Mhm.
I'm loading up my palette with the usual suspects.
Stonewall Gray.
Yes. Oops, this P3 was not put away properly. Who on earth did that? I'm sure it wasn't me. I just put out a video where I explain how to put these things
Probably
away
not.
perfectly.
Always juggle your paint.
Always. It's the only way to make sure they're properly mixed. Alright. Alrighty, here we go. This is probably a little too big of a brush. I'm gonna switch to a number 2, which is one bigger than a number 1.
Mm-hmm. I like a 1.5.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's my preferred size. In more ways than one.
Anybody doing anything spooky for the month of October? I've been reading the SCP Wiki, which is a website devoted to people sharing kind of spooky stories. But it all kind of takes place in a shared universe where spooky stuff is real, and there's a foundation that works hard to keep it all hush hush.
The U.S. government?
Yes. I believe it's a multinational organization because there are stories from all
Illuminati?
over. Dr. Drokel has ditched the debate and is ready to be entertained. Ah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I tuned in for a
Yeah,
hot minute
we
as
were
well.
both just watching. Yes, I did as well.
The debates can wait. You gotta thin your paint.
No, there's no candidate that has a wargaming
Yep.
plan or anything. So I don't know how I feel about that.
Mm. Yeah, none of them have updated their Insta.
They didn't show their how they moved their GW paints into dropper bottles.
Yeah. Or did they buy the really expensive caps that you stick on to turn them into dropper bottles?
Yep. I love those.
You know, I don't know. I don't see the need to purchase the most expensive miniature paint, and then also buy $1 conversion kits to turn them into sort of droppers. You know, not talking about any products in particular, but
But you know, the only one that is out
the
there.
only one that exists.
I wonder if someone's gonna make an even cheaper version of it.
They are wargaming just on a much bigger scale, unfortunately. Yeah. Oh, look at the little salamander. Little scamander.
Scamander.
Newt Scamander was the name of the character from Fantastic Beasts, which I heard the first one was fine, and then the second one was real bad. And the third one is probably never going to come out. I think they decided that that it was going to be 7 parts. The next movie series.
Oh, jeez. Sounds like Avatar.
That Avatar is also never coming out.
Love a good blue person.
Wait, 16, you binge watched our base and orc painting vids? I feel like that even wouldn't take 2 hours. Probably watch most of our stuff.
All of
them. in pretty close to 2 hours.
Let's see.
Nick, did you know that?
Besides some of our newer stuff.
Yeah.
Huh.
Did you know that mini wargaming, when they were trying to get rid of a lot of their old content, because they were what's the other streaming platform that wanted to be YouTube for a day? Vimeo. Yeah, they host
Vimeo?
on Vimeo, and Vimeo is like, hey, you got to get rid of most of your content, or else we have to charge you millions. And so they took all their old stuff and they put it onto hard drives and sold them to people for $200.
It's pretty good. We're gonna start doing that.
Yes. It
Void 16, you can buy one.
Yeah. It all fits on SD cards though.
Yeah.
Because with mini wargaming, it's like battle reports, literally hundreds of battle reports. Yeah, for us, everyone gets a thumbstick of videos. I do love mini wargaming though.
I buy one for 800. Lol, JK. I don't know. That's a little rude.
Yeah.
I think you should buy it.
There we go. I accidentally got some purple on his chin and it doesn't want to go away.
Dr. Drokal. I didn't even see the first Avatar. It was just a cowboys and aliens movie on another planet.
A little bit. The first Avatar is fine.
Yep.
It's a fun watch,
and
then it just jumps out of your brain as soon as it's over.
Oh boy, does it? we watched it probably 2 years ago or whatever. So that's recently. It's kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing it in theaters because that was the thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw it in theaters
when it came out. Yeah.
I'm sure 5 more will be great. With the same cast, too, which boggles my mind. Because, spoiler alert, everyone dies. One thing that annoyed me...
Also after 12 years.
Yeah, also it's been 12 years. When it came out in 2009? So yeah, just about 12 years between number 1 and number 2. Assuming...
It's going to be a number 1 and it's number 2.
But, the thing that got me in the movie was kind of this weird fairy tale-ness, but it didn't seem like they were trying to do a fairy tale, because the evil corporation is really evil.
Yeah.
The bad guy kills one of the scientists, and it's considered not a bad thing that he did that. It doesn't make any sense. The bad guy is just bad guy McBad guy bad guy. He's Gruff Man McMilitary. I think that was his name. It was Gruff Man McMilitary.
Yeah, pretty much.
And he shoots...
Might as well have been.
Because the scientists, they decide to go AWOL, and they steal a helicopter and try to fly away. So he tries to shoot down the helicopter. No one tells him to do that. He just does it. And he ends up killing Sigourney Weaver. And everyone's like, whatever. Are there no laws when they go back to Earth?
Nope.
Are there no laws whatsoever? Also, remember, Nick, do you remember the name of the resource that they were harvesting? The resource that was impossible to get on Earth? It was called unobtainium.
Ah. Yep.
Why can't it just be gold? Like, why did it have to be the dumbest sounding thing ever?
That's a pretty good name.
Unobtainium.
Because it's unobtainable. Get it?
I don't get it. I need further explanation.
It's because they can't get it on Earth.
Pangburn
So
Dark.
it's
Is unobtainium a super old sci-fi term? Pangburn Duck, explain yourself. Is it like an Isaac Asimov thing? Because if it is, that got by me. Dr. Drokel, bad guy who's bad for the sake of being bad, who must get the unobtainium MacGuffin for reasons. Yeah, he had to get the unobtainium. But, like, it wasn't even... He was the military guy. Like, they're just mining it. Like, regular mining. He didn't even need to kill them to get the unobtainium. He just wanted to kill them because he's bad and they're good. And his boss doesn't seem to, care about his practices. Another thing I didn't really understand is some of the good guys. So Jake Sully, he turns into an avatar. But a bunch of humans decide to stick around to do research. How are they getting back home? Did they just keep a spaceship, like, ready? Or are they going to hope that they send another thing back? By the way, in 5 years, can you please send back another $1 trillion spaceship to come get us? Another squidjillion dollar.
That sounds pretty unattainable.
Pangburn Dark, can you tell me where unobtainium is from? Was that right with Isaac Asimov? Probably not, because I just... doesn't sound right.
Yep.
It actually has a wiki page, unobtainium in fiction, engineering, and through experiments. Unobtainium is any hypothetical, fictional, extremely rare, costly, and impossible material. Still sounds dumb. Dr. Drokel, we played a DC role-playing game, and I played a cyborg made of tough stuffanium, and beat the enemy cyborgs who are made of crudenium. Very nice. So unobtainium has some basis in fiction, but boy, does it sound a little lame. Oh, the material's called unobtainium? Can you tell me some facts about it? Like, is it hard to get? Oh my god, it's unobtainable.
It is a very descriptive name.
It is. Perhaps a little too descriptive. They should have named it something better, like Avatar Rocks. They should have called them James Cameron dollars.
Yep.
Oh, James. James Cameron is a weird director. I mean, mostly now because he spent his half his life working on Avatar movies that aren't gonna come out. But like, he made The Terminator. He made other stuff, like lower budget kind of films,
Mhm.
sort of. And now he just spends his entire life on Avatar movies.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's like the term widget in economics. Yes, but it'd be weird if an economics movie, if the crux of the economics movie was called widgets. Like, wouldn't widget is what you put in the script when you're gonna come up with a better name later. What do they sell? Widgets. We'll figure it out later. They just sell widgets. Widgets. I'd buy that for $1. Ah, I love RoboCop so much. There's a great fan film about RoboCop where they took RoboCop and they cut it into like a dozen parts, a dozen, maybe probably more than a dozen, like 2 dozen, 3 to 5 minute scenes, and they gave them to different small directors with tiny budgets, and they reenacted these scenes, and some of them are beautiful with amazing lighting and really cool like RoboCop costumes, and some of them are really crude like cardboard suits. And there's a great scene early on in the movie when RoboCop apprehends some thugs who are assaulting a woman, and he shoots the thug in the dick, which is great, a great scene. They expand on it to have, as soon as he's shot the thug in the dick, goons start popping out from every corner, rushing RoboCop, and he just starts blasting them all in the dick. It's awesome.
I feel like you've shown
I think
me
I
that.
have. It's glorious.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good.
But yeah, I'm sure if you just, I think it's all on YouTube. If you just look up RoboCop fan film.
RoboCop shot in dick.
Yeah, RoboCop dick
You'll be
shooting
able to
scene.
find it.
Just look up that one specifically. Craig Turpin. They all have their dicks out though. It's weird. And that's, you know what though? That's what makes it even better. Does it make it worse or better? Yeah, it's kind of awesome. Dr. Drokel, awesome and graphic. It is wonderful. What a world we live in. Did anyone see the RoboCop remake? That was kind of fine, whatever. It was kind of fine, whatever.
Yeah.
It had some cool stuff in it. Like, obviously back in the Disney, they couldn't have like RoboCop run or even walk quickly because the suit was impossible.
Yeah.
In the new movie, he's running and jumping and shooting and doing flips. So I appreciate that. And Samuel L. Jackson is in the movie, and he kind of plays an Alex Jones type, and he does a wonderful job. It's got its moments. I think it's probably worth a watch, but it's not like the original. I mean, the original was like it's like a tongue-in-cheek kind of funny exploitation-y movie, and the new one's kind of a little bit more by the numbers action.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite actors in the remake, though. Oh god, now I'm gonna blank. He's got a little bit of a weird name.
Uh-oh.
Oh no! He played Rorschach.
So good you forget. It's just some of my favorite moments.
Yep.
This is proof that there's too much Warhammer and Star Wars
There
knowledge
is
in your
though.
brain, where you forget
Mm-hmm.
your favorite actor's name.
One of my favorite actors. I think some of my like I love Charlito Copley, Jackie Earl Haley, Dr. Drokel. How the hell did you find that? Wait a second. How? I guess because I said it was one of my favorite actors, but he's not like the main guy in the movie. He's like one of the villain guys. That's amazing. Jackie Earl Haley, who
Oh, I love that.
me and Jackie Earl Haley are the same height. We are both 5'5". We are little fellas.
Little fellas. Little
Mhm.
bits.
Jackie Earl Haley is excellent in the movie Watchmen. He plays Rorschach. And he is the quintessential Rorschach. He also played. He's not in much, but he also played Freddy Krueger in the remake, the awful remake of Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, the Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, I feel like they got Jackie Earl Haley because he already looks a little like a burn victim.
That was just bonus.
It is weird that they got a tiny man to play the killer. Although I guess Freddy Krueger, it's not like his size and strength that's scary. It's his dream powers and claw fingers.
Yeah,
And he says bitch a lot.
that would do it. Just like you. Yeah.
I'd buy that for $1. The original RoboCop has so many wonderful moments, like when they're unveiling the new police robot, and they're testing it out with the investors, and they give the investor a gun and tell him to point it at the cop, and they're to tell it to point it at the robot, and then the robot says, "Drop your weapon. You have 5 seconds to comply." And then he drops the gun, but then the robot's like, "You have 4 seconds to comply." And then he starts to run around the room, and then the cop robot just unloads on him, just reducing him to like red pulp, and everyone's screaming and running out of the room. And then the guy in charge goes up to one of the scientists, and he's like, "What's going on here? I thought you guys had all this worked out." Like he's barely concerned that somebody just got massacred, and the room's now covered in blood. But I think Charlito Copley might be my favorite actor. Everything he's in, I love. He was the guy. He's Vikas from District 9. He is. He's in Elysium as the villain. Yeah, Dr. Drokel from RoboCop 2. I think they're showing off the RoboCops that didn't work. My favorite part about that scene, where they're showing off all the RoboCops that didn't work, is the RoboCop walks into the room, shoots one of the scientists, shoots another scientist in the arm, and then shoots himself. And you see they look like the camera moves around to look at the scientists, and one of the scientists' hand is bandaged up. Yeah, RoboCop 1 and 2, and 2 is the last. Luckily they stopped making them after 2. They're all great. Yeah, this purple is, the pigments in it are really, really fat. The Avatar crew got back home when Vikas hitched a ride. But Vikas doesn't want to go back to District 9. He wants to go back to being a human. He lives in District 10 with the other prawns at the end of the movie. Oh, and Charlita Copley is in a great movie that I didn't get a lot of attention. It came out a year or two ago. It's called Free Fire. And in the movie Free Fire, what's great is it kind of turns like movie guns. It's like it's a classic shootout between, you know, a group of criminals selling guns and a group of criminals buying guns. But what's great is like the physics and stuff in the movie are real. So like people get shot with guns and then they're just hurt. And they're still screaming and cursing and trying to shoot back. Oh, it's great. Yes, he did play the bad guy in Elysium. I liked Elysium. A lot of people did not like the movie. Charlita Copley is Chappie from the movie Chappie, which I think is one of my favorite movies. I think that movie is a masterpiece. That opinion is shared by absolutely no one, but you know what? I love the movie Chappie. It stars a robot. And it also co-stars the band Die Antwoord playing themselves.
Oh, yeah. Which is an interesting choice.
But I kind of love it. They're a West African hip-hop rap group.
And
they are in the movie, and I love it. I love it.
Do you know how that happened?
I think the director is just big fans of theirs. And since the movie is set in South Africa, and I think it was shot there, I think it all just worked out. And they kind of do look like druggy criminals.
Oh, yep. Yes, they do. They nailed it.
Charlita Copley was also in Powers, which was a show available on PlayStation Plus, made by Sony a few years ago. It only has 2 seasons. Wow! No wonder I've never heard of it. That's a limited release. Available on PlayStation Plus. Do people really use their PlayStations to watch stuff?
No. Yeah.
I feel like if I was on a PlayStation, I would just be like, I could be playing PlayStation right now.
Well, for a long time, it was like the cheapest way you could get a like a Blu-ray player or like a DVD player, because you kind of. So might as well do everything on it. It's already hooked up to your TV.
It also is a Roomba and an Alexa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a good old-fashioned wiretap.
Craig Turpin. I feel better about hating the Citadel paint pots. They're not great, but they can get the job done. Most of my paint, well, not most actually, probably a little less than half my paints are Citadel, and they're all doing fine.
Mm-hmm.
They make a mess. Craig Turpin, it sounds like you make a mess.
Ooh.
They do. The paint can get into the cap, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah. I gotta go through my paint. It's been neglected. Geez, I moved with it across the country and then back.
The paints came?
Oh, the paints came. Yep.
What am I looking for? Browns. All right, Rhinox hide. I'm going to be painting some of the rope on them, and I'm going to be painting... You know what? I think I'm going to just start with Mournfang Brown. I don't think I need to go darker. Because it's going to end up mostly bone white. Vallejo bone white.
Did I tell you most of my metal tools got rusted?
Yeah, you said. from the.
Which is bizarre.
Yeah, why
In
don't
the
you tell the
ocean.
gang about that? It's a good story.
I lived in California for a little bit, and my tools rusted.
Well,
There
but
you
what's the
go.
hypothesis behind why they're rusted? Wasn't it the
Because I
climate?
live by the
Yeah, the
ocean.
ocean.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's neat.
Oh, I don't know. It's
Mhm.
weird. Oh, and then my someone that I worked with said to keep your tools fine, you should always have them oiled, mildly oiled, so that they won't rust. But it was way too
Yeah.
late.
We're in Illinois now, and we don't have to worry about any of that stuff.
No. It's also pronounced
Mm-hmm.
Illinois.
That was pronounced illy.
Illy. No one's ever said that. I think you just invented that. Hope and Ash are finally here. Ash is here in spirit
Aww.
again. Sounds like Hope you forgot. That's kind of what that
Mm-hmm.
sounds like.
So, Hope, has watching all these streams convinced you to go out there and get yourself a miniature and paint it up?
Hope did forget. But it's the big sad time, so it's fine, lol. Yep. Hope is definitely going to do miniature painting. Hope, you can express your true feelings over the chat. It's fine. You told me what you're gonna buy.
Yeah, hop on to Reaper and pick yourself out a nice mage, or maybe a Viking, or a dragon. Add to cart. The models are usually between $5 and $10. So pick out a nice one. You can paint them with any regular acrylic paints.
You can soak the tools in white vinegar and get the rust off. Yes, oil tools, and also put those tasty silica packets from things you buy in your
Mm,
toolbox. Ah, those are some good
yeah.
ideas. I didn't know that because I just assumed it was not like
Mm.
that.
Didn't
I didn't even live
didn't your
that
car
close.
or didn't your something in your car rust too? Your
Um,
wipers?
yeah, that was beforehand
Oh.
though. Oh yeah, yeah. My wiper, yeah, rusted all the way through. I had to get a new back wiper because it like the rubber disintegrated, which is very odd. But the whole bottom of the car was completely rusted just because of the
Mm-hmm.
snow and the salt in the snow. It's weird living in a different place for a little
Mm-hmm.
bit.
So hope that's reaperminiatures.com. So get on it.
Or you get the Plague Doctor one that
You
you
could. It's
have.
on available on Amazon. It's one of my favorite models I've ever painted. Yeah, a good mini can do real well on the Insta.
That is very true. And Hope knows a thing or two about
Mm-hmm.
photography. So Hope could probably take a good picture of it.
The trick to good miniature photography: set everything to auto, just point and click. That's really what you got to do.
Point and click. Yep. And shake.
Yeah, yeah. If you got shaky hands, don't even worry. It won't be a problem.
No. You know what though? It's interesting. Because like I kind of thought that like most cell phone cameras are perfect
Yeah.
now. they're pretty good. You can take some good pictures. People still take horrific pictures
Hmm.
all the time. Just turn on one
Yeah,
lamp
I've seen
and
every.
you're good to
I've
go.
seen every. I've seen all footage of aliens. Every flying saucer. All of YouTube. I just typed in aliens and went right down the list. Every photo was garbage. Every video was garbage.
Yep.
I
Yep.
could shoot an alien saucer at 4K. What is the excuse?
Yep.
Is everyone
Exactly.
running around with Nokia bricks?
Yep.
I could go live with an alien sighting with my iPhone SE.
It's true. That's really true.
Also put Vaseline on the lenses and leave the lens cap on. Works every time.
Yep. It's the boomers. They can't take photos at all. No, there's a lot of young people that can't
Which
take
ones are the
photos either.
boomers?
Um, it's not your parents,
Hmm.
but probably your parents' parents, right? Like my grandma is a boomer, but she's really young. I guess for a grandma.
Have you seen?
Have you seen a boomer take a photo?
It's horrific.
It's horrific.
Well, yeah, they use the flash.
Yeah.
Also, everyone, if
Mhm.
anyone,
Well, you're
yeah, if you
supposed.
want to take a really good photo in low light, you gotta turn the flash on.
All the way on.
Hope can confirm. Always
Only
use the
flash
flash.
photos.
Always use the inbuilt flash on your camera.
Yep. Even in
Yeah.
daylight. You just always want a good flash. You always want a good surprise, you
Mhm.
know? That's what's helpful. Boomers are born 1946 to 1964. Oh, that's easy to remember.
What happened in 1946 that turned everyone into boomers? Like somebody just had a baby.
Probably the
Yeah.
war.
But they weren't all in the war. They're
No,
not
but
called the warers.
they're born, yeah, they're born of the baby boomers,
Ah.
or that they're part of the baby boom. Because that's what you got to do after war. You got to make more.
Ooh, Craig
People
Craig
banging at the
Turpin
end
has a
of
good
World War
question for you,
II.
Nick.
What's the failure rate on the Gumars? Um, I mean, I find if it fails, probably it's usually your fault. You didn't put a support at the right place. I can usually determine why something failed. Like I forgot support on this really important part, um, or I used auto supports and it just didn't support things correctly. I would look at 3D Printing Pro has some great support questions. Once I started, because what I used to do is I would just make it all up because that's when I buy something new, I try it out and I just guess. And then I kept getting failed prints. And then I followed his settings, the way that he thinks about the supports. And then I didn't have any problems after that. But it is like every once in a while, I will have a piece that doesn't work out. But it's always because of me. I usually just don't, or I use too light of supports instead of using a heavy support. It all kind of depends. It all depends on your model, really.
See, it depends is not a very satisfying answer. Yeah.
I know, but it does.
You're supposed to say, 1 out of every 5 tries, due to no error on your own part.
Yeah. People do need to blame themselves more. If something goes wrong, it's usually your
I
fault.
love it whenever I'm playing like a video game and I get killed and I'm like, oh, the computer cheated.
Yep.
It cheated. How could it have known I was right there?
Yeah, but the LA Mars is great. I print miniatures. They look great. I print blocks of stuff. They look good. I really like the printer. But yeah, 3D Printing Pro is the way to go for good content on that. 1965 to 1980, Gen X, the coolest generation. Are we Gen Z?
I don't know.
I think that's what
I think
we
we're
are.
generation last.
The last generation.
Joey Flores, what about 3D printers? Well, a 3D printer is a machine that deposits plastic or resin to create a
Like filament?
Yeah.
Filament 3D printers? What generation am I? Let's do it. Yes, we are both in Gen Z.
Is it Gen Z because it's last?
Probably. Or iGen, whichever one you prefer. Oh, and then there's Gen Alpha.
Who's Gen Alpha? I feel like that's cheating.
It's 2013 to 2025.
How come they get to be Alpha? Then everyone else has to be like Beta, Gamma.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't.
They didn't even start with a Gen A, which I think is dumb. Correct.
Yeah, it sounds like BS.
It's almost like it's all made up and not real.
It's like someone being like, "Yeah, my friends call me Eagle." No one calls you Eagle. No, but if they did, they'd call me Eagle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the LEGO Mars, they're pretty powerful.
Mm-hmm. Which does a bottle of 3D resin cost, and approximately how many 28 heroic scale minis can you get from a bottle? Let's see. I think, what is it? A liter is like $40 or something. And like a figure probably is like 20 or 40 milliliters. So whatever the math is for that. Because I went to art school, so I don't know.
If you had to throw a number, how many salamanders do you think you could print? You just bought a bottle. How many before the bottle's empty?
Could probably print, I don't know, 40.
Wow, that's a lot.
That sounds about right.
40. Neat. And these guys are probably comparable to a Space Marine. They might be a hair smaller. If you don't count the bases.
Crucial Slicer and using that for... Yeah, I don't trust the auto supports. I don't know. I've gone that route as well, and I didn't have any luck with that. I find just doing it and making sure your object is rotated is usually what's helpful. I don't know. I just haven't had the Crucial Slicer hasn't helped me. But yeah, definitely don't use the auto supports on the shitbox. That's how I like to call it. Yeah, so I guess if you do the math, it's 50.
Mm.
You'd be able to print 50 of them. Or about 25.
Yep.
If you divide it again.
Yeah. I don't know though if you should plan on purchasing an Elgu Mars and then saying, all right, this is going to give me, an Imperial Fist start collecting.
No. I was saying half of that. So that's we did the same
Mm-hmm.
math. We did it right. I was saying 20. Yeah, if they're all 40, that makes about sense. That's about right.
I wonder if anyone has like made like a 10 model STL that's all like Space Marines that are all kind of like posed a little differently and shaped a little differently. Because what you'd probably end up with is like a
Uh,
dozen in identical figures.
mhm. So are you saying like you just print all 10 of them at the same time?
No, I'm like I would because what I want
Or
in an
what?
army is like a little variation, a little customization,
Uh,
and I'm wondering if printing your army is really gonna work with that. I mean, it all
yeah.
depends on the
I mean,
STL.
I guess it all depends on the STL and the artist that makes it, or if you make
Yeah,
it. Because if you make it, I mean the world's your
mm-hmm.
oyster.
I'm allergic to shellfish.
Yeah. Well, happens to the worst of us.
Decals instead for the
I got my
knees.
Elegant Mars for
I
yeah.
bought from Shapeways. I bought little Black Templar symbols that are meant to go on knee pads, and they actually work really nicely. I don't know if the Elgu Mars is capable of that, but the super fancy machines at Shapeways that like spray resin into wax, they can do microscopic detail.
Hmm.
I've been chopping up minis with 3D tools Windows has, and I'm messing with mesh mixers. It's cool to be able to see it fully 3D and then print the same. So Joey Flores, you can do like repositioning of STLs, like if you can move arms and stuff.
And yeah, I mean, you could do that. You could do that in Vectorworks for
Huh?
sure. And I did a little bit of that with Blender.
Neat.
You could still manipulate it. It's just not. It's sometimes it depends on how it was exported out. Sometimes you have
Mm.
problems. Because that's how I did the like for the Necron terrain, the ball for the energy ball that I had. That was all in Blender as an STL into Vectorworks, and then I just added a peg into it, and then saved that as an STL
Mm.
because I wanted to see if I could manipulate that geometry. Depends on the model. If it's a single unit, it'll be a pain to slice and reposition, but some folks make multi-part models, so it's easier to work with when adjusting the position. Yeah, like the Black Templar Crusader,
Hmm.
because you could play with that because it's he had it because I printed just the
Mm-hmm.
figure out, or we could have made kind of like repositioned it, added parts to it,
Huh.
and then printed that out. I don't know. It all depends. Adult Diaper, which is one of our biggest
Yes.
sponsors of Eons of Battle.
Yes. When you need something to depend on, you
You
can
can
depend on Depends.
you can say that I'm depending on it right this
Mm-hmm.
second. I'm peeing right now.
There you go. Right now, I'm blacklining some of the details on this guy because I thought his details were a little sloppy. So I added some black lines to in between these leather straps and his blue armor, just to make it stand out a little stronger.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, these guys they're home stretch a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's today, 9? I don't know if they'll be done by 10, but I'd bet they're going to be done by 12.
By 12?
By episode 12, The Phantom Menace. Here's episode 12. Which Star Wars movie is technically episode 12? I'm going to say it's the Star Wars Holiday Special. It's technically number 12.
I think you nailed that.
George Lucas has a great quote where he says, "If I had enough time and a hammer, I would track down every copy of Star Wars: The Holiday Special and destroy it."
Wow.
And they,
I love that,
the
man.
people behind the Star Wars Holiday Special said that they did send George Lucas dailies of the filming. And I like to think that George Lucas, every time he got an email, he would just check his bank statement, and if it went up, he just said okay. But George Lucas, he's a clever guy.
Yep, I'd probably be okay with it. He is a clever guy.
And on the original Star Wars movie, he actually took a pay cut. He said that they didn't have to pay him, his full director fee if he could have the licensing rights for toys.
Oh, that's a great, yep. It's a good idea.
And the original deal with Kenner to make the Star Wars toys, it was like super favorable to Kenner. Like I think Lucas only took like 5% or something, and he still made millions.
Yeah.
But then he made movies like Red Tails.
Crazy.
So.
A perfectly fine movie.
Did Alec Guinness really have a cut of the licensing? That's hilarious. You don't think he was checking?
I don't think. No, he was. He had emails back then.
2%, I think. Yeah, something crazy like that. And then I want to say when the Kenner rights went to Hasbro, Hasbro actually lets their sweetheart contract lapse, and so they actually had to renegotiate. And now LucasArts takes like 25%. And it's probably part of the reason why the toys are doing so badly. That, and I guess kids don't like toys anymore.
They like in-app purchases.
Yes. Yeah, they like Fortnite. Yeah, Joey Flores, show us that. Oh, by the way, guys, it's 9:57. We're going to be wrapping up soon. So if you want to throw something in chat, now's the time. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait till tomorrow.
Say something. Yep, say something mean.
Do it. Kenner got Star Wars because Mego Toys passed on it. Yeah, I think everyone passed on it because Kenner was a tiny, tiny toy company at the time. They were not a big name. But no one had any faith in Star Wars. And I think we all know Star Wars, right now, barely anyone's ever heard of it. Tiny little indie film.
Yep. Yeah, I'm surprised you guys have heard of it.
Oof.
So when do you think you're gonna do the fan?
I don't know. It'll probably be one of the last things.
Mm-hmm. Should we do a fan special?
Yeah, we'll do a fan special. We'll do that. This is gonna be the fan episode. Only for our number one fans.
This is to all the fans
Yeah.
out there. And we'll put it on our OnlyFans.
Yeah, no one's found our OnlyFans yet. It's surprising.
Yeah. It is upsetting.
Ooh woo! Ooh woo!
So, ooh woo.
Ooh woo. There are some itty bitty little details on these guys.
I think it's adorable that no one has said anything
Yeah.
mean. I'm taking advantage of that.
All right, folks. 10 o'clock. You know what that means? The bed. Oh no! Oh no! I just broke him. Oh, it's not gonna want to glue very nicely.
Would you
One of his tiny little delicate tassels. You know, it's really weird how these things break, because it's this part is round, and then this part is actually like curved. I don't know. The 3D printing is amazing and awesome and nice, but the resin is kind of poopy to work with. So, I hope that they come out with a.
That's what the resin says.
I hope they come out with a resin that's a little bit more rugged. All right, but I'll figure it.
It also depends on what resin they used.
Yeah, it does. Gray.
They could have used poopy resin. Yeah, there's more than just gray. Is it washable? Was it ABS-like? A lot of different types.
All right, well, I'm going to end the stream, and then I'm going to do a little bit of emergency surgery. Oh my goodness, it's way too thin to pin. If you look at it, it's barely anything. It's, you know, it's maybe as thick as like a pin. All right, folks. Good night.